And there he is, Mr. Lock-On himself. We are just back today from the NTC in Ipswich. This is my second time playing there. An amazing shop there as well. I came second in the NTC today. So today we're going to go through how the games went, the deck that I took, the decisions that I made, my matchups, and what I would change. And then going into regionals, what does that look like? So in the last NTC where I won my Kira pilot and I came second, I took an Altron deck. And the reason why I changed that was because previously I had taken a Blurple deck to the Ipswich one. Prior to that, I came up against White and I would just gas out in the games that I lost. Chelmsford, which I came second in, really opened my eyes. My only loss came to the winner in that game as well, and that was just a phenomenal run. So going into this, I thought, you know what, let's take Altron again. Regionals coming up, I will be playing a completely different deck at regionals, but with the ban list coming up, which I've made a video about if you've not checked that out, I kind of felt like everything is so uncertain right now. So I thought, you know what, let's just not rock the boat. Let's go with something consistent. So I chose Altron, where it's not a very consistent deck really. I mean, it's consistent in terms of strategy and what you want to play, but it's not Blurple. It's not 1 year war. So this was the deck list. I went with 3 Zowarts, 4 Elthrith, and 3 Rick DS. Honestly, this was the perfect amount. Zowart, I really didn't actually see too much of Zowart. Launcher Strike as well, I only saw him once. This was a really weird day for me. Now, I got quite lucky with some of these matchups in terms of what I needed out of these blockers, which we'll go through. The main focus for me is I just want to get to that turn like 5 to 8, and then that's where this deck would start coming alive. I think some of the key tech choices in this was Hawk of Endymion. I thought that was just, it's such a great card, and I really urge people to check that card out a little bit more. Don't write off, especially in a deck where you are playing Sword Strike and playing Launcher Strike. These are keys because it's an extra link if you need it, but it's also a great key against aggro just as an alone command, which did actually come in mega clutch. Now, I want to preface by saying every single game that I played today was incredibly hard. I had a lot of fun as well, and I saw a really great variation of decks as well. Great players, and I just love the atmosphere at Ipswich as well. So shout outs to all of those players as well. Great community, and you know, if you ever want to come down to an event and you've never been to Ipswich before, come down. Same with Chelmsford as well. That's my locals. But let's talk about the games. Now, believe it or not, round 1 for me, I got the bye. I couldn't believe it. However, there is a level of like pressure that takes off of you because you know that I've already got that win. Yeah, sure, it's not a fully fledged win, but it's a win regardless. So I just basically watched one of my boys' games who, you know, I saw him win, which was really nice to watch. But it did put on pressure because it meant that going into round 2, I was going to be going in kind of cold. I haven't warmed up. I haven't played, a bit more nervy. That's when round 2 came. And round 2, I had to play one of my teammates and one of my local players from Chelmsford as well. And in my opinion, he's one of the players that I think is probably the best that I've ever played. White Void, if you've ever played him. He's also someone that has taught me so much about this game. I attribute a lot to my improvements in the last like 4 to 5 months due to his help. So he was playing white red with the Providence kind of top end. Now, this is a matchup that I honestly do kind of favor myself into going if I can start seeing those breach units like Shenlong. If I can see Ultron in, I also have the opportunity to tack into active with Wing as well. Now, this was a kind of a part of clutch from me and a bit of unluckiness from his part. He never saw Providence. I saw Shenlong early on and I saw Ultron to the point where Ultron was just taking out even paired Ales. It was just, it was not very nice. He got some early burn off as well with some of my weenies as well, but I think that when you got breach and you're exploding blockers on the attack, it's a bit much as well. I managed to get a wing 0 out as well, and then it was just a kind of a case of just going from there as well. Really unfortunate that he never got to see his top end. He had to use 2 Rail Crusades on non-linked, but it's just a matter of the game. So I took round 1. Well, round 2. Round 3, I played up against the winner of the tournament and also another Chelmsford player like myself. One of my favorite players, an unbelievable player as well. He'd previously also won NTCs as well. And this actually caught me off guard because typically he is a wing player, but this game was against Blurple. I immediately knew I was in trouble. When you are playing up against Blurple, but you're also playing up and against an incredibly efficient player as well, I already knew I'm not going to see any misplays here. Herb just went to him. He saw 3 arm rows. I nearly managed to stabilize. I got wing out, but it just wasn't enough. I think this was one of those key moments where like you just feel the power of Grandpa and Armoro. Listen, I wasn't bitter about it. I think it's a great card, and I think that, you know, it's almost the top end of that deck. So like, I knew that I was starting to see stuff. I did get larger units on board, which would have been problems for him. Like I saw 2 Ales on board at one point as well. I even had to link one with Faye just to start bouncing units, but unfortunately the damage had already been done prior to that. My opening hand, I literally saw like an Elthriff, and I only really managed to get like a couple of blockers out, and I couldn't stem the bleeding. So he was the winner. You know, he went unbeaten as well, and you know, if you're gonna get beat, lose to one of your boys. Round 4 was probably the toughest game for me, and shout outs to my opponent as well, because he was so efficient. I played the O blue white deck. This was terrifying for me because yes, he had a lot of blockers, so you think, oh, with a Shenlong package you will be fine playing this. This was a terrifying game because my opponent was brilliant. So I managed to get a Shenlong out on board. We started doing a bit of dilly-dallying, and then he started bringing out L-Strike, dealt with that. And then we got to a point where he started really hurting my life. I think I got down to like 2-3 shields. I played 2 Zowarts. He had an Elthriff and he had the O on board. I had a turn where all I had in hand was 2 heroes, 3 wing zeros. I literally had to pass turn, and the reason I had to pass turn is because I needed him to start swinging so that I could attack into those, bring their health down, bring out wing zero, and start doing some damage there. So I literally had to pass a turn. I think we were on like turn 8 at this point. Immediately telling my opponent, I have wing zero in hand. He knows this, and then he starts rushing the board, gets my life right down. I managed to get wing zero out on board the next turn. He then kind of starts flooding a little bit. He uses Corsica base, which I think Corsica base with the O is actually such a great tech move as well. I really, really like it. Use it before it gets banned. I then play a second wing zero straight after that. Turn after that, I get Altron out. I'm now taking out full L strikes. If he brings down Masala, I have that as well. Then I get a third wing zero out. I had literally had 3 on board with that. Just before I finished it off, I also had a wing, linked wing with hero. But shout outs to him because he was really close to that game, and I think it was a case of top decking for me on my part. So it is what it is. We will take those, but it just shows you the power of this deck. Once you get to that point, wing really becomes a monster of itself. Then we went to my final game, and I really didn't know what my opponent was playing. Now, previously I had played him in round 1, and he was playing a blue-red Zaft type deck. So I thought I was playing similar. No. He played, I think, 4 Elthriffs in a row. It was crazy. Then he brought out Grandpa, and I was like, okay, we're playing blue-white, but I don't know what your top end is at this point. My opening hand after I mulliganed, I'm not even joking, this was diabolical. 2 Hero Yuis, 2 Hawk of Endymion, and a Kira. This was awful. I thought, okay, this is it. I'm going to lose this game. Luckily, with the deck that he was playing blue-white, I knew that I had a little bit more time. I started bouncing stuff using Hawk of Endymion whenever he would use like Rick Diaz's or anything like that. I also used one on a token to bounce it as well. But then we got to the turns where I was able to start using Shenlong. I was able to use Wing Zero. I then also used Wing with Hero. It was a really, really tough game. He was actually playing Epion, but he never saw those pieces. He had a handful of pilots, no units to play it. And then even when we finished the game, he drew the top of his deck to see what he had next, and it was more pilots. So it's really unfortunate to him because Epion really would have changed the course of the game, but we got the win. Now, this is a really confusing one for me because since playing this deck, I've become very consistent. I've gotten 2 NTC seconds in a row. And ideally you think, well, surely if you're going to go to regionals, you want to take a deck like this. Well, regionals is a different animal. People are playing more games, so maybe we're going to start seeing more aggro. I'm expected to see Blurple if it's not hit because it's such a consistent piece over 8 to 9 games. So I will be taking a different deck. I do enjoy this deck. The deck that I have in mind is a lot more fun and more of a pet passion thing. So I could be throwing there, but we'll see. I am going to make a video of that, but probably after. I will also be making a vlog of regionals as well. I mean, personally with this deck, I think that this is a really, really strong deck. I think you could probably go lower on the Zowarts. I saw Altron and Wing Zero more than enough, so I wouldn't up those. I would maybe consider adding maybe more launcher strikes. I think that this deck was brilliant. If you're considering playing Wing, I think that this is a solid option. It gives you an extra edge in the mirror as well. Yes, it can be a bit more clunkier into aggro, but aggro also has its benefits of playing into this because it's slower, but also you have Wu Fei, so you can start taking units for free. But there he is. Very nice card. Add to the collection of pilots. Maybe one day we'll get a win, but for me, there's no pressure. I just enjoy the game. If I can get a pilot card, that's great, but I had a great time with my team of all the people at Ipswich. Any questions, let me know down in the comments below, and let me know what you're thinking for regionals and what you're going to be taking to NTCs for this lock-on and also for Lupus as well. Look, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.